So hello, everybody. Welcome to the DemetraKaye Show. If it's Sunday, it must be the DemetraKaye Show. And I appreciate you guys for being here. We ain't here just yet because we went live. But I like to say the purpose of the DemetraKaye Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community that makes us an even better people, with the emphasis on even. Hey, Tisha, how you doing? I'd like to say a big giant thank you to Donovan Sadiq for sitting here co-host with me as he does every Sunday to chop it up with you. And of course, Mark is guiding for everything that he does behind the scenes and making the show go a little bit further. And the Ride or Die audience on YouTube and Facebook, you guys are the other side of the conversation. We could not and would not do this without you because you guys make it so much more awesome. We love the fact that you guys are able to participate. And I want to say this is the only show, I could be wrong, I'm probably wrong, but the only show that reads every last question, comment, and concern from the audience because we believe that you guys should be heard too. And so, as you guys can see here, our topic is Brothers and Sisters. Are you concerned yet? Of course, that's a very loaded topic, and I'm going to get into it right after Donovan. Go ahead and tell us what's going on in his neck of the woods.
Hey, you guys. Welcome to the DemetraKaye Show. It is Sunday, and I mean, there's nothing else you guys need to do if you're not working. You know, hey, you're sitting out here, you're smoking your weed, you got your Hennessy, you just came back from church after being at the Sugar Shack all night. Hey, it's time to sit back and get some information and some insightful commentary. Speaking of insightful commentary, also do not forget to check out DemetraKaye, as she is a contributing editor on the Diaspora News Channel and the African Diaspora News Channel, which is on YouTube as well. So check that out when you get a chance. Very, very interesting topic coming up. I'm going to tell you guys this. I was up till 7:30 I didn't go to bed till 7:30 this morning because what I usually do is I stay up at night, I edit videos, and I look at YouTube channels and see what's going on in Blackdom. And I'm telling you guys, we got a Democrat in there. He's been in there for over 70 days now. Almost 100 days is done. Not one thing has been done for Black people. This one lady who took John Lewis's seat, she was John Lewis's apprentice, whatever, worked with him for a lot of years. She was on a morning news show talking about, oh, you know, John Lewis is this great icon and he did a lot of great things, but she couldn't quote one great thing that he did there in Georgia. She's talking about the racism that still is prevalent in Georgia, but yet you have Black people sitting at the table, and yet we're still having problems with racism. We're still having problems with representative. We're still having problems with police immunity and police shooting us down in the streets. And this is what these people keep saying, that they're doing great things. Where is the proof? Where is the proof? So we're going to talk about that today. We want you guys to give us some insight and some opportunities. And for those of you guys that were at the donation yesterday and the fundraiser, thank you so much for helping us fundraise to get our candidate on the Houston school board. Please continue to donate, because this vote and your donation goes toward a candidate that actually gives a damn about our children. You mean?
So hello, everybody, and welcome. If you guys could do us a favor and please share this live so that everybody else can get the information and join in on the conversation. Also, really quick, as you guys can see, we have a great brand behind you, toothpaste by the name of Prodent Max that is Black owned. It is all natural organic ingredients. It helps your mouth to stay nice and fresh and clean, gives you that fresh, clean feeling all day long. Again, it is Black owned and it is a great product. I use it, my daughter uses it, and we love it to death. I have pinned the link in the comment section on Facebook and in the description box on YouTube. If you are interested, please check it out. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. And hello to everybody that came in. I said Tisha, Stacy, Robin, how you doing? Robert, and Mr. GA for 85. How you doing? So anyway, brothers and sisters, are you concerned yet? What does that mean? Well, here in 2021, we're seeing a lot of things unfold, especially with our laws and just a whole host of things that you would think you would have read about since we weren't there in the Jim Crow era. So I'll start off with, as we talked about on Friday briefly, you guys saw there in Georgia, Governor Brian Kemp went behind closed doors to sign new voter laws. A lot of people are calling them voter suppression laws, where they have changed a lot of things and actually have made it harder for people, and specifically people of color, Black people, brown people, made it harder for us to vote there in Georgia. course, some of the things that they've changed is that you cannot hand out food and water to people standing in line. And comedian George Wallace says, I'll hand out any damn thing I want to, water, food, whatever. But that is now a crime. Also, if you're going to mail in an absentee ballot, you need to provide a copy of your ID. And then when you're dropping it off, you have to also show your ID, among a whole host of other things that just really make it hard for people to vote there in Georgia. Now, we have really gotten wind of it because a representative by the name of Park Cannon tried to knock on the door. She says she wanted to, I don't know, talk to him, maybe stop him from doing it, them being Brian Kemp and a whole other bunch of white dudes that were, standing around him as he's signing it. And they also said, if you take a notice to the picture that was behind him, it was actually a painting of a real plantation. So they was like, oh my God, there's just so many signs and symbols going on, right? So basically, she wanted to knock on the door to stop Governor Brian Kemp there, from rolling back the voter laws to that of Jim Crow. Remember when they had to do all these tests and, different things, literacy tests to make sure they're able to vote, just racism at its finest. And so here we are in 2021 dealing with that. Also, I read an article today in Jacksonville, Florida, Duval County, There's a school there by the name of Robert E. Lee, and they are wanting to change it to something else because you guys know Robert E. Lee, General Lee, was fighting for the Confederacy in the Civil War to keep slaves and Black people enslaved, right? So they've taken his monuments down all over the United States, and I guess this particular school is still named Robert E. Lee. But good old racists turned out to the school board meeting and said that they're sick of people trying to change their history and take away things that are theirs. And one dude even got up there and said, well, Jesus didn't condemn slavery. It even says in the Bible that the slaves should obey their masters, right? And so, again, this is Jim Crow holding on so tight, doesn't want to let go. And then this is like a melting pot of issues, right? And so we're going to talk about it. The next thing on my list is Lil Nas X. You guys have probably seen him trending this last weekend where, Lil Nas X he had the cowboy song. Y'all know what song I'm talking about. It was wildly popular. Kids loved it. Everybody loved it. Where he comes out with a song called Montero, and it is him dressed, scantily clad in some high heel boots. And he, at one point in time in the video, ends up giving the devil a very salacious lap dance. Okay. Then he cracks the devil's neck and takes his horns off. And now I don't know what he is. He's some celestial or demonic being. I don't know what he is. But then you want to throw in, your Cardi B's and your Megan Thee Stallions. And you have to ask yourself, why are we allowing, record companies or whoever to inundate our community with that type of nonsense? Now, I'm not saying other communities don't have music and images like that put before them, but you don't see it the way we are having to experience it in our community. Okay, so that's just one thing. Again, brothers and sisters, are you concerned yet? And of course, we still have police brutality that's still off the chain. We had an actor that plays on Power. I forget his name. The little boy who is now leading the series. He was pulled over by the police officers, and he filmed them on his camera. And you can see the police officer look. And when he realized he was being filmed, he kind of changed his demeanor. But the actor was like, I just felt like if it wasn't for my camera, I would have been dead. I think he was really wanting to shoot me. He says, no matter how much money or what kind of car you drive, you are still in danger as a Black person. Okay, so we still have wholesale police officer, murder of Black people by police officers, although New York did just get rid of qualified immunity. It's a great thing, but it's only a start, right? And then again, as Donovan alluded to in the beginning, we have, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, who promised and pleaded and pandered to Black people that they were going to do something. What? I don't know. Even though we heard them both say reparations was not on their list for Black people, Joe Biden got up there and said that you guys stood by me and I'm going to stand by you. And out of all the bills and the things that he signed, he has not done anything specifically for Black people yet. And I don't think that he will. As you guys know, we have this thing called a Stop Asian Hate, which Asian hate should stop if that's indeed a thing. But they're now trying to pin it on the backs of Black people. And as you also see, Asian people are getting a lot of legislation in favor of them. Joe Biden talking about making a hate crime. It's called a coronavirus hate crime bill. We know that anytime Joe Biden has anything to do with crime bills, that usually affects us disproportionately and most negatively, even to the fact that we still have people in jail due to a lot of the crime bills that he fashioned as a senator, as he says, since 1976. I don't know if you guys are aware that our children are also under attack, our babies. A couple of weeks back, we had a 6-year-old little boy who was arrested and taken to court for picking a tulip. A tulip, a flower, a tulip at the bus stop. I guess as he's waiting to go to school, he picked some lady's tulip in her yard. She calls the police and he's in court having to defend himself or to answer as to if he's guilty or not as a 6-year-old for picking a flower. An expert in that situation says, the sad part about it is if little white boys get in trouble, they take them home. But Black boys get in trouble, they take them to jail. They have to answer in court. The judge in that case was like, he's still at an age to where he's believing Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny and all these things. And is he even equipped to answer for himself? He's 6, so we've seen a lot of instances. 9-year-old in Rochester, New York was pepper sprayed in her face. And, I can go on and on about that. And then I'm sorry, y'all, I'm going to have to throw this in there. We got a lot of pariahs in our community, and I'm going to call them out there. I don't care if you like it. You got your Kevin Samuels and your Derek Jacksons and all the other people who call themselves relationship gurus who are actually helping to tear our community apart. And I have a lot of men, especially, still asking me, well, what are they doing wrong, especially your Kevin Samuels? And I'm like, well, if Kevin and Derek are really helping people, why are we continuously as Black men and women fighting online over their content if they're actually helping us? And so again, those are just a few things that I have. But the question I want to go back to is, brothers and sisters, are you concerned yet? Do you know what this actually means for us as Black people? I'm going to put this out there. Andrew Yang, who is Asian, who was actually running for president in the 2020 election, said that Black people are less than 12 years away from being out of money. Donovan and I have often said we as Black people are 12 years until we are a slave again. And Andrew Yang said that is because with the onset of AI and a whole host of things coming in, Black people disproportionately make up the service industry. Those jobs are going to be going away. As you also see, all these laws are being rolled back to that of Jim Crow. So while we joked about 12 years into a slave, how close are we really to it when you can hear a white man stand up in a school board meeting talking about Jesus didn't condemn slavery? He said that the slaves should obey their masters. Why do you think he said that? And you think he's alone? So at some point in time, we as Black people have to get concerned, stop playing around, stop fighting, and a whole host of other things that are a distraction to us because we are out of time. As Dr. Claude Anderson told us that, and this was years ago, we are in danger of becoming a permanent underclass if we are not already. And if you know the definition of permanent, that means forever. It means unchanging. So are you concerned enough yet to make a change? And then lastly, I want to say this. We as Black people still in America are continuing to give our money away. It is said that we make $1.3 trillion in our community and we give 97% of that away to everybody else. And then when we suffer a pandemic, and I don't know what you heard, but even before the coronavirus came in, Black people are always in a pandemic. But whenever it comes to something serious, we are always begging and hoping and wishing somebody is going to come along and save us other than us. So I'm going to get to you guys' comments right after Donovan has it.
Well, I've got a lot of things to say in regards to that. Why do we keep hoping and praying and wishing somebody's going to come save us? Because the civil rights era folks, and I know people say you're always talking about the civil rights era folks, but listen to their rhetoric. They're saying the same shit they said 60 years ago. It didn't work then. It's not going to work now. These white people, and isn't it funny? Isn't it funny that their liberal friends from the 60s, they're, that marched with them with King and stuff like that, their children, the white liberal people's children, are more racist than the liberal children's grandparents. Think about that. Think about that. And then I was watching, and I watch a lot of documentaries and stuff. Go back and watch a documentary on the liberation of Zimbabwe, the liberation of apartheid in South Africa, and how they were fighting that and how the white people reacted to the fact that they are a minority. They control all of the wealth, but they're a minority in a country that is browning or whatever, black or whatever you want to do is. Look at how the white people back then reacted to the playbook that the white people are reacting right now. It's the same playbook. They have the same reaction. They are acting like victims. Like, oh my God, our history. Oh, well, we're not from here. This is our homeland. We have this land. How, and it's funny, if you watch the documentaries, you'll see the black people say this in response. The only way you get your property from somebody who stole it from you is to go take it. You can't go to the very system that is set up for the thief and expect justice. You got to go take it. And it isn't like these white folks ain't got a place to go. Even the white people in this country, if it came down to it, fundamentally, they all have homelands to go to. So, the fact that they won't accept the fact that they are an ongoing minority trying to hold on to power. The sad part is we have proxy groups, Hispanics and Asians, that are willing to be tools of white supremacy. We have time and time again disproven their summary that black people are beating up Asians. That makes no sense even in the rhetoric because we are their primary customers. So that doesn't even make sense. And then every time they catch somebody who was doing all of this Asian bashing, I have yet to see major videos of a black person being upheld as the person that's doing it. All the shootings, white people, all of that stuff. So have I had enough? I have had enough, but of course, Demetra, we know what's going on. And in conclusion, the voting rights restrictions, I'm not for anybody getting their voting rights restricted. However, some of y'all civil rights era folks, y'all need y'all voting rights restricted because you guys keep voting for the same dumbass bullshit. So that's where I stand with it. Let's get to these comments.
Absolutely, y'all. So hello and welcome to everybody that came on here. I'm going to get to your comments right now. And Arkithia, how you doing? It says, made it. The grocery line was long. I have to get there myself. And Kiki, how you doing? And Mr. I think Georgia 85 says, I'm fed up. Me too. And Stacy, what's going on with you? And again, if you guys are in the watch parties and you want us to read your comments, click on the link and we will be more than happy to do so. And let's see here. These other comments. Corliss, what's going on with you? You says, girl, that's some bullshit. Tell me about it. And welcome, welcome, welcome. And congratulations to your new grand bundle of joy. And Mr. Georgia 85 says, shaking my head, Lil Nas X. Yes, Lil Nas X is just a tool. He's a tool of white supremacy. He's going to do any and everything they tell him to do, and I don't know if that's something he wants to do. Maybe he does, but I think we really need to really open our eyes and get serious about what we allow them to pump into our community. Now, admittedly, we're not the only one that listen to Little Nas X or people like him, but he is one of us, whether we like it or not. And let's see here. Corlin says, now that's BS. He needs to sit his ass down and not on the devil's lap. And Donovan said, did you guys check out the Tamara Johnson-Sheely podcast in regards to Kendrick Johnson? Not yet, but I will. And Arkithia, you said we need to be a protected people. Yes, and that's what Dr. Claude Anderson talks about all the time. Everyone else is a protected class, like the Indians and stuff like that. Black people need to be that too, for a whole host of reasons, because we have never been that, and we are in dire straits, if you will. And Mr. Georgia, you say thumbs up. Come on, y'all. Get them likes up. Yes, get the likes up. And Corlin says, girl, I was so mad at that bullshit. You talking about Lil Nas X. I just shook my head like, wow. Stacey says, we have the same shit over here over the pond. Oh, you're in the UK. I didn't know that. Okay. Yeah, I see stuff that you guys got going on over there that's similar to what we have here in the States. And Robin, how you doing? You said he made the Asians a protected class, but the Asians have not been subjected to anything that we haven't been subjected to for 466 years. Yeah, at all. I mean, they haven't even come close. But see, the problem is, well, it's not a problem for them, but they are unified in every way, shape, or form. They have power. We don't. We just have the illusion of power, being told that our vote matters, and all we got to do is vote. I mean, hell, we've been voting. You voted in, Joe Biden and Kamala, and what have you gotten? Nothing. So that proves to you that your vote is really just, a check mark in the box unless you have something to back it up.
And real quick, just think about this. Joe Biden just said he's going to run for re-election. He will be 82 years old when he's eligible for re-election. So if he's not doing shit now, you mean to tell me you're going to have these black so-called leaders try to tell us to vote Democratic and scare us that Trump is going to come back or whatever else is going to happen? And he hasn't done anything in this administration for us yet. Oh, wait a minute, though. You Negroes out there, not you guys, but those Negroes out there, they're going to say, well, he just got in office. Give him a chance. I don't have 4 years left to waste. In less than 100 days, he has done everything for everybody else. Pulling money out of his ass, but can't address black issues, reparations, or anything of that nature. So I want you guys to think about that. So if nothing is done in these 4 years, are you guys dumb enough to give the Democratic Party your vote for another 4 years of nothing?
Right. And Tisha says, are you serious? Yes, about the little boy. Absolutely serious. Look it up. In North Carolina, I forget exactly where, but North Carolina, 6-year-old was arrested and taken to court, have to answer for, in court at a public defender and everything for picking a tulip. And Donovan, you say, does this remind you guys of apartheid Zimbabwe and the stuff going on with whites in South Africa and the like? Whites are wild. And Corliss says, hell yeah, very serious. And Arkeithia says, I feel like I'm walking on Mars. Or we might need to think about going there, right? And Kiki says, yep, I'm seeing what's coming for the black community. It's sad. In fact, not only is it coming, it's here. It's here, but we don't really realize just how much it's here. And Arkeithia says, you're taking the words out of my mouth. Okay. And Stacey says, we don't raise as we grow. Right. And then Arkeithia, you say, speak, sis. All right now. And Willie, how you doing? He says, this place has nowhere else to go but down. We must build and defend at all costs. And that's why I said, are we concerned? Yeah, and we're going to be a point to where we're not going to be able to build because we're not going to have what we need because we are just sorely distracted by everything you can think of. So, but I agree with you. And Arkeithia says, if we think Joe is going to do something for us, hold your breath, right, and die, right? Hold your breath and die. And then Kelly, how you doing? He says, baby boomers have dropped the ball. We have to pick up and run with it. Yep, it's time to stop focusing on the baby boomers. And, the baby boomers didn't do all bad. They did what was best for them during their time to help move the ball. But we just haven't, like you said, picked up the ball and ran with it. We just run in circles, and we are no better off than we were in 1960s. In fact, we're probably a lot worse off.
Well, you got to think about this, too. And I agree with you guys wholeheartedly in that statement. How can you pick up the ball when they won't even leave the goddamn seats? We can't even get the seats. Maxine Waters is 83 years old. The average black leadership up there is 74 years old. So you can't really put that onus on us when they won't even leave the seats of leadership.
But you know what, though? It is on us because while they're in the seats of leadership, they're not there because they refuse to go. They're there because we refuse to vote them out. Our generation is really apathetic when it comes to the things that go on with us. And so at some point in time, when the baby boomers, God rest their souls, are gone, who else are we going to have to blame? And so we have got to at least, if we don't like what they're doing, organize, vote them out, and actually vote in people who are going to do what we need them to do.
Well, no, I don't. I'll have to disagree with you on that, because the simple fact is we don't need to vote them out, because number one, our population isn't moving, so we don't have the votes to do it. I'll just let the Hispanics and the Asians do it, because that's exactly what's happening here in LA.
Well, our problem is not just with the political system. We have a whole host of issues. The political system is just the one aspect of it, but we'll never be relevant in politics until we get our stuff together on the back end of that. And that's group economics, unity, and a whole host of things. So, I mean, we got a lot of stuff to do before we completely think that politics is the end all be all.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right.
And then Kiki says, that's why they're coming for the Asian and Hispanic communities. Their population is declining, so the agenda is to get other minority groups to assimilate with them. They did the same thing with the Irish and the Italians. Is history repeating itself? Exactly, because at one point in time, the Italians and the Irish, they were considered almost as bad as Black people. But they said, okay, you know what? Yeah, you look like us. We'll go ahead and include you in with the numbers. But you're right. At one point in time, they couldn't get favor either.
Well, think about this. Who was used as a tool of white supremacy? Most of your police officers, especially in New York City, were what? Irish police officers, Chicago and those places like that. They used that group to enforce white supremacy, which made them a class of white power.
Yep. And Arkithia, you said the younger generation in Africa, I think, are fighting back. Yes, they're a little bit more woke, I think, than we are, especially in South Africa with the EFF. They, are trying, I think they're trying their best at this point to go against that of the ANC, the powers that have been ruling for over the last 30 years plus. They are trying to say, you know what, we tried it your way, it ain't working. So let's talk about overturning this thing. So I agree with you. And Channy, how you doing? You says, the very laws that the governor of Georgia are rolling back are the same laws he put into effect when he was running for office. Things that make you go, are you ready yet? Hashtag. Absolutely. I mean, he understands what's going on. He sees what happened to him. When Black people really did get out there and vote, when, they overturned those Senate seats, they was like, oh, okay. See, because I think they understand that a lot of those people in Georgia won't go back to sleep. And unless they cheat and rig the books, they'll be out of there. They realize that. And Robin says, yes, notice the new beauty supply store in my community today. It's ran by Arabs, blew me away, and their prices are cheaper than the Asians. So I guess the Arabs are trying to undercut the Asians. And guess who their customers are? Us. They know, we're going to go running right over there. Ooh, child, they got a new beauty supply over there, and it's cheaper. They got their prices is good, girl. Go on over there. But neither one of them like you. I mean, Arabs were some of the main participants in the slave trade, and they're still participating in it, especially in places like Libya. They got full-fledged slavery, human trafficking, and sex trafficking going on, but yet they set up in the Black neighborhoods and continue to pillage the Black community, and we allow them to do it.
And then, what kills me is nobody ever asks, where do they get all of this money when they come here? Why are Arabs have all this money? You want to know why? They come from a place where it's a kingdom. They have no rights, and they have universal health care there. The kingdom provides everything they need, and they get a yearly stipend of so many thousands of dollars for everybody in their family. So what these people do is they stay there for 10 years, have a family of, let's say, an average of 4 to 5 people within that family. That's almost $300,000 a year. So you take that money, so you have let's say a base of $3 million when you come to the United States, where you can open up a business and do all these things and have these type situations. But the funny thing is, they come here. I don't know if you guys saw the video. I cut a clip of Mississippi Masala starring Denzel Washington. I don't know if you guys saw the movie where he said he was talking to the girl's father, and he said, there's one thing I know. You guys come from wherever you guys come from, and you come here black as I don't know what, but then you get here and you start acting white. And one thing I do know is you guys aren't but 2 or 3 shades from this right here. And that's exactly how they act, because you don't see them going and setting up in the white neighborhood, because just like in apartheid and what was happening 60 years ago, white folks ain't going to let them set up in their community because it's a closed community and white supremacy is still prevailed. Only in the Black community can you go there, choke a Black person out, and they will still patronize your store.
Right. And Kiki says, yep, you're absolutely right, Donovan. They're painting themselves as a victim all the time now. Yep. And our Kiki says, I'm not a customer of any Asian anymore. Yeah, keep your money at home. That's what we need to be doing, keeping our money at home or finding somebody that looks like us that we can give the money to. There's no excuses at this point. And Stacy says, divide and conquer, quote unquote, continues. Yep. And Arkika says, I woke up, but my sister is still asleep. Well, everybody in his own time, but you keep being the example, and pretty soon she'll start to follow. And Kiki says, but they have the nerve to still want the black dollar. I've seen them Asians in comments calling a black person racist who says black people should keep their money in their community. Of course, because they know that they eat because of black people's, being asleep and dead. You've got to be one dead individual mentally to willingly go and give most of your resources to a people who don't like you. Now, I'm not saying all Asians don't like black people, but it is known that in their community, they look down on black people. They don't see us as equal. Hell, they newcomers over here, yet they trying to, hold us back, but they're not going to hold back on our money, though. So,
do you know what's funny? All of these people, especially the Asians and especially the Africans that have come here, they came here because we stood up for them to make it possible. Because before then, they had quotas of how many groups could come here and so on and so on and so forth. Isn't that amazing how we're always standing up for these groups and then they get here and then they shit on us?
Right. And Robin, you say, Arkeithia, me either, but I wanted to see who was running the business. And then Tanaya, how you doing? And Todd, what's happening? He says, peace, Demetra and Donovan. Great topic today. Black people will continue to have the hammer of justice put down on their heads until they start to begin to respect and protect their black woman, as well as stick together as a people. The Bible says there is nothing new under the sun. A generation comes and a generation goes. Black people are that generation that continues to come and go for generations. The justice they seek, they can give themselves, but look for it to be given from another. And I think you meant people because it cut off, and you're absolutely right. And Kelly says, unfortunately, Mandela and the ANC dropped the ball by not redistributing the land and wealth properly back to the original owners before the colonization. Yes, and South Africa, a lot of people really love Mandela, and Mandela is admirable for what he did, doing the 27 years and coming out and being the first black in Africa, if you think about that, elected of the ANC. But, his presidency didn't net what a lot of people thought it should have netted. Black people should have been on top, but the same thing is over here with the Obama presidency. Black people thought, okay, for sure, this is our time. We're going to get on top of this thing. And yeah, you see what happened or didn't happen. And Kiki says, but how is business? Is it business when they keep money among themselves, but racist when black people do it? Make that make sense? Well, because they know we don't have the smarts enough. Not saying we're not smart. Well, I don't say smart, but they know we don't care. They know that we just want the product, the weave, the shoes, the clothes, whatever it is. They know we want it. We don't care. We'll sell our own people out, give them money, even though they choking and beating up, black women in salons. And they know we don't care. And so, yeah, they don't want us to keep our money from them. How will they eat? And Mr. Jordan says, I didn't vote unless we start voting independently. Yeah, and that's a solution that we should be trying to do. Yes.
I'm not going to say it's shame that you didn't vote, but always remember your vote on the local level matters, Mr. GA. So you should have down balloted. I didn't vote for Biden, thank God. And I wasn't going to vote for Trump, but I voted Green Party because that was a platform for me. But I damn sure made sure I down balloted, because think about this. When you have your sheriff, your local sheriffs, your local judges, those are the things that matter to you and can be the difference between a prison industrial complex putting kids and putting us into these prisons because of their racist sentiment and all that other stuff. So it's very important to down ballot locally. Very important.
Absolutely. And hey, Samuel, he says, I'm a 17-year-old and I'm very concerned. And I'm also frustrated that most of the black community only get concerned about our issues when pimping activists, white liberals tell us to be concerned. You are very wise, and you get it. And we need more young people like you to go ahead and spread the word. I swear, it is so refreshing to see and hear young people think like that and understand, what we as black people are enduring, especially on a political level. So big ups to you.
Samuel X, get that YouTube channel started. Get that message out there, brother. Get it going.
And let's see here. I got a lot of comments here. Marcus actually wants to come on here. I'm gonna get to these comments and then I'm gonna bring him on here. Oh gosh, where did it go?
You're at Wilbur Powell.
There we go. Ooh. Okay, and Wilbur says, in the fight to the end of in the fight to end white supremacy, what do we do with fools that are on the side of white supremacy and look like us? You leave them behind.
Yeah, you leave them behind, ignore them.
Marcus Garvey told us to leave them behind because he says when they're going back to Africa, they will be no good there. And no doubt they're no good here and they won't be any good over there. So you have to leave those people behind and they'll come along when they're ready. We don't waste time on them. Let them do what they're going to do. And Kiki says, and not a black person should vote for him when he runs again. Let him depend on the other minority races he's pandering to and looking out for. And that's the plan. That's why they're catering to them. We need to wake up. Are you concerned yet? And Willie says, this is white supremacy's last gasp. They're pulling out all the stops. You better believe it. See, we get it. We get it. We need all of us to get it. And Damon, how you doing? You say 100. And Robert says, I have a strong feeling Trump is going to be president again. If we don't get a black agenda on the table, Biden can kiss his second term goodbye. Yeah, well, Trump and Biden, as old as they are, talking about I'll be back like the Terminator. And Mr. Jordan says, I don't vote for any candidate unless they have some kind of benefit for us. Democrats or Republicans, they are all on the same team. Yep, absolutely. Lamarcus, how you doing? He says, Queen and King, do you think black people are business to others? So are we? If I get what you mean, yes, they eat off of us. You know, they don't set up in our communities because they love us. They don't set up in our communities because it's, you know, the place to be. Follow one of them home and see what kind of gated community they driving into. And ask yourself, how they driving into those gated communities after working all day, 24/7, sometimes depending on what the shop is in our neighborhoods. They sucking the money out of our neighborhoods and then they're funneling it back into their neighborhood. So of course we are big business to them.
Yeah, and think of why they're doing that, because they don't make grocery stores in our neighborhood. We're in food deserts. We're kind of in a remote location to where we're stuck at the local gas station. We're stuck, you know, to the vices that we have because we lack wealth within our community and resources. So they don't even do bus lines anymore in a lot of black communities or black neighborhoods. You know, we're just stuck. So, you know, with that capacity, think about this. When you go to business school or whatever, they teach the white business. Well, you know, the customer is always right and all this other stuff. That doesn't play in the black community. You could choke this black woman out, beat her ass, and put 50% off on whatever, nails or whatever, and black women and black people will be lined up outside the store.
Absolutely. And we do have the resources. We just misappropriate them. We give them away to everybody else. We only, you know, live off of 3% of the money that we have because we give 97% of it away. So we need to fix that. And then Marcus, you say 78. And then Stacey says
Biden. Yeah.
Oh yeah, 78 years old. Okay. And Stacey says, how do you get the opportunity to get the leadership? How do we get the opportunity? Well, I mean, again, when we do vote, stop voting for people because they were claiming a time and they done marched on Pettus Bridge. Well, what have you done? What have you done for black people? Because I even saw at Maxine Waters, she was at some Stop Asian Hate event. You know, it's like, you concerned about stopping Asian hate, and I'm not saying people shouldn't be, but what have you done tangibly for black people? You've been saying you was going to get reparations, you're going to do all of these things, Maxine, but you haven't. Your district is among some of the worst districts in the United States of America, but you hopping on everybody else's bandwagon, whether it's the kids at the border, it's DACA, now it's to Stop Asian Hate. What about your black people?
And think about this, you guys. All of the prominent black so-called leaders in Congress, be it the Senate, be it the congressmen, look at their districts. Not one of them could say, wow, I live in this pristine district and everybody's happy and everything. All of their districts look like war zones. And some of those people, well, John Lewis, he's in Atlanta. Again, black people don't own anything predominantly in Atlanta. So that's a farce as well. So just stop it.
Right. And I'm going to get to these comments because I see we have a lot of them. And Kelly says they should know to train the next generation like other groups do. Yep. Well, they used to, but we need to get back to that. And Tisha says we have too much division and distraction, folks who aren't concerned until something affects them directly. Yeah, that's how it usually is. When it comes to our front door, then we want everybody to run to our rescue, but we need to, be a little bit more on the proactive side, right? In case to stop it from coming to our door. And L, how you doing? He says a lot of us didn't know how to pick up the ball. Group economics and unity is why we are losing. We have to start thinking different. You're absolutely right, and start teaching that. To those of us who do know about group economics and unity, we need to start teaching those things. Is that the shirt you got from South Africa? Yeah. Okay.
Steve Biko. He says the most potent weapon to the enemy is the mind of the oppressed. They use us against ourselves and our better interests.
Absolutely. And Lamarcus says, I don't think they're more woke than us here in America. I don't know about more woke, but they definitely are not afraid to lose it. They're not afraid to get out there and, and take action. I don't know.
Well, I think what it is you got to understand. It's their country. Thousands of years of history there. So they have a different take on it. It's like our Native Americans here. It's their continent, their land. So they have everything backing them up, whereas we don't have that since we were brought here.
All right, so I'm gonna get to these comments. And Fayetteville, how you doing? He says, yes, stop blaming all failure on the boomers. I remember when Generation X stopped listening and when boomers had to start raising Generation X's kids. Now from Generation Y and Z, please just gently pick up the ball and stop talking about it, or raise your own kids so your old butts can get back out there. You know what? She's right. She's right.
But then she's generalizing, because not everybody that was in the 70s smoking drugs and LSD, going to Vietnam, coming back fucked up, not taking care of their kids. I mean, we can throw the ball back and forth, and I love you, Fayetteville. I do. I love the way you bring in the comments. This is what we're supposed to be talking about. We can throw the ball here and there. Not everybody did that, okay? Because I'll tell you what, my mom's a Generation Xer. She ain't taking care of my kids. That's my responsibility.
Yeah. Until I could throw it back to you. Not all baby boomers embodied the same ideology. Yeah. As far as helping our generation be docile.
Right. No, exactly. And I'm not saying that because, like I said, we can talk about Malcolm X, we can talk about Medgar Evers, we can go on and on and on, and even the great ones. And let me just clarify this, because I know we got a lot of things to get to. The civil rights era people, we wouldn't be where we're at without them doing what they did. They have advanced the ball as far as they can go. Nobody's taking that from them. What I'm saying is there comes a time where you just got to say, you know what? We've taken it this far. Here's the baton. You guys take it farther. But we're not seeing that, because you got 83-year-old people still they're dying in office. And that's the problem.
Right. And Blessings, how you doing? He says, no, sister. He says, I think he meant I'm South African, and EFF want to destroy this country. They want to make this country quote unquote free for all Africans. I'm not really for sure how to read that. I mean, they want to make it free for all Africans. Can I clarify that? Because I don't want to speculate on what you mean.
Maybe she missed it, where the EFF doesn't want to destroy this country. They want to make this country free for all Africans. That's the only way I could see it making sense. But
yeah, because I didn't say that they did, so that's what I'm trying to figure out. Robin says Black women are their customers. Yep, Black women stay out of those stores. And Blessing, it says, but I think you guys are more woke than us. Okay, so that's somebody from South Africa saying they think that we're more woke. Okay, and Elle says we got to stop patronizing these groups. Absolutely, like yesterday. And Jeffrey, how you doing? He says, Tisha Facts. And Lamarcus says, I'll say I'm Arab and see if I can get a loan. You better do it online, brother. And the one, how you doing? He says the Arabs are getting small business loans from our government. Yeah, it's easier for whatever reason for them to qualify.
Yeah, well, that's because they have a financial base that they come with it. That's why they qualify. Same thing with the Asians. They come with a financial base of money in hand. Black people do not qualify for a lot of these programs because we're economically strapped and we're just dead broke. Right.
And Stacy says we need more lawyers giving pro bono help. Yep. And we need more people taking it, like really listening. And Robert says it pisses me off that they monopolize off of us. We are the Asian and Arabs' largest consumers. That don't sit right with me. Yeah. Well, we got to start waking each other up and start saying, well, did you know that? Did you know that we are their biggest consumers and they give none of that money back to us? Like, we got to really start educating ourselves. And Tisha says, choke to sleep. Yep, right up in the beauty supplies. Hey, holy Vizzy, what's going on with you? You says, I think a lot of younger people are ready to take action. We were just raised to focus on the wrong things, or at least I was. Yeah, a lot of, and yeah, I agree. In your age group, that's would be our children. We did drop the ball on them. Our generation was a little bit more on the selfish side, you know, and we didn't really instill the values that was kind of instilled in us, and then you know, our parents' generation. And so I agree, we did drop the ball on you guys. And so there's a major link, a piece of the puzzle missing, and we need to find it. And Elle says, they sell bad product that we purchase. This is why they are in our community. Yeah, we go in there and 1 week and buy rotten meat or milk, and now you gave me this, that, and the other. No, I didn't. Go home, drink it, throw it away. I don't know what you do with it, and then you go right back. And they know you ain't gonna bust a grape, so they continue to do it. I don't get it. And Lamarcus says, we did the fight. And Moni, how you doing? He says, let's be clear, when you have so many that wear hair weaves, yet they talk to the masses, it goes down as frivolous. When you stop buying all of their products, that's when you get a serious consideration. Yep. When you starve their asses out.
Yeah, you know, and don't get me wrong, I'm going to cut you off. Don't get me wrong. If you ladies want to have weave, that's fine. I don't like it. But when I see somebody that has a weave in their head and trying to look European or whatever, Negropean, no, I just can't follow that person, because obviously their mind is in a different economic phase.
Well, yeah, and then, you know, women, if you want to buy that, find somebody black that's selling it. You know, I'm not going to tell you what to do with your hair. It's your hair. You got the comb and I don't. You know, but find one of us that will profit off of it. Keep the money circulating. Don't keep giving it to people who don't like you.
Right. And see, right now would be a perfect time for Black women to start these Black beauty shops and businesses, because we're seeing how these Asians are treating us and scapegoating us. Now's the perfect time. We say stay out of those damn shops. Start now propping up the Black shops right next to the Asian shops and giving the people the choice. Right.
And Tania, I hope I said that right. How you doing? He says, Donovan is speaking. Absolutely. And Lamarcus says, this is a whole different day. And Moni says, if you could buy some of your hair products in terms of shampoo, conditioner at Walgreens, Walmart, Targets, me here, I think that's how you say it. I know I jacked that up. If it's in your state, Kroger's, if it's in your state, you will come out better. So you basically saying, stay out of those stores, go to other stores until we can get ours going. And hey, Jonelle, what's going on with you? And Arkeithia says, Obama hurt us. Yes, he did. And, you know, even to this day, he's like, well, you know, I would have done more, but, you know, white people would have been mad.
And, you know, and it's not even that, like I said, it's the racism, because like I said, remember, racism's always been there, but it got amplified when Obama got elected. And I'm not saying he shouldn't have got elected. I'm saying is the white people saw the writing on the wall with Obama, and that brought about Trump.
Right. I'm trying to find my comments again. Okay. And Fayetteville says, I put my money into businesses that have the best product and service, regardless of their ethnic background. My alderman is trying to get Black businesses in our neighborhood that cater to families, like a family restaurant or a store like Walmart. Yeah. You know, I mean, I guess I'm not going to fault you for that. But if you can find a Black business to give your money to, that would be awesome, because that's what everybody else does. They give their money to their people. It's not even a second thought to them. They don't have to say, well, you guys remember to go out there and shop Asia today. Remember to go out there and shop with Hispanics today. Support your people. They don't have to do that. But us, we would constantly have to say to each other, don't forget to shop Black today. Did you shop Black? When is the last time you shop Black? No, it should be second nature. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Hold on. It's a good thing that your alderman is trying, you know, to get Black businesses in there. So, you know, whatever works.
Yeah, I'm going to respect your right to do what it is you need to do with your money. But just like Demetra has said all the time, we are not disciplined enough to stay on code. See, so we're trying to say, stay black, no matter what. But again, some people, you want to take your money and that's your right. You go do that. But we as people, we need to stay on code and buy Black. Be one first.
Absolutely. And Jeffrey said Black Power. Yes, indeed. And Marty says Donovan is right. They come here and they poop on you, but when they know they can poop on you and you don't have nothing to do with them, and make it clear you get respect. Please believe that. Yeah, absolutely. But you know, some of us like to be pooped on. Not me though. And Arkeith says, I will never forgive Obama for what he didn't do for us. Yeah, you know, we just need to be smarter next time. If there won't be a next time, but you know, yeah.
No, wait, what do you mean? He came out and said Black people should have got reparations after he was out of office, 4 years after he was out of office.
Right, and then he didn't even really fully own it. And Moni says, right here in Highland Park, Michigan, there is an African-American beauty supply that has been open now for about 2.5 years. The competitor is Vietnamese. Right across the street, and yet the city, and your comment cut off, but that's what they do. If you talk to a lot of Black businesses, they talk about how, you know, especially when in regards to beauty supplies and salons and stuff like that, that the Asians have a lock on it, and they purposely lock Black people out of the market. And so that's what they do. That's their tactics. They see somebody Black doing the same thing they do, they move right in. And you know what the crazy part is? They'll know we'll go over there. They'll know we know there's a Black business right across the street or next door, but we'll continue to go give them money because in a lot of cases, their prices are cheaper because they can be cheaper. They got a great supply chain when the Black beauty supply probably doesn't. So they have to jack their prices up just a little bit. And because we don't realize that if we would just continue to inundate the Black businesses with our money, then they could drop the prices. And you know, so our prices are always going to be high until we understand that.
Yeah, and the sad thing about the Black businesses, they get it from both ends. Their supplier, which is usually an Asian person, you know, the Asian industry controls the industry. They charge them a higher price to get the items, which means for the Black business to make a profit, their prices are going to be naturally higher. And then when we see it as a consumer, we say it's too high. Then we go to the Asian person because they undercut the Black business. Next thing you know, the Black beauty business can't survive because it's getting it from both ends. And a lot of people don't understand that because, you know, we don't take business classes as a whole. We don't understand business as that. But, you know, that's just how it works. But the thing is, if we would stay on code, and like I said, I'm not the one to tell you what to do with your money and how you're going to spend it. But that is one of the major problems of the Black community. These white corporations know because Walmart, just Black history just happened. When in the last 10 years did you see Walmart have Black history shirts? They know we're going to go and buy that shit. They know it.
Right. And Tisha says, many of us are too concerned with status and being seen in ways that are less important and don't help us. Yep. And Robin says, I'm independent, but I voted Democrat down ballot this past election. And Jerome says, I am 18 years old. Wow, we got a lot of young people on here. Big ups to you guys.
Hey, Jerome, look, we need your Facebook channel. We need you to get the message out. Put it, you know, be one. You get that message out, you know, to your peers.
And Stacy says, I love our young people. I do too. And Marty says, yet the city of Highland Park has made announcements that to be fair in the Asians, to the Asians, they don't want to promote it as sharp Black with Highland Park is 98% all Black. So that's a hypocrisy in itself. Yes, it is. And Kiki says, Samuel sounds like a future leader. Big ups, young man. Absolutely. And Samuel says, I'm trying to get that channel started, Donovan. Thanks for the encouragement. And then Arkita says, I like that shirt. And Aronamo, how about to say Darbo? How about that? I'll say your last name. How you doing? He says, is Malcolm X still in us? And if not, we need to install him again. I think that's what you're trying to say. Absolutely. And as I say all the time, I hate when the anniversary of Malcolm X's death comes along or his birthday and Negroes just be on social media quoting Malcolm X, but they don't walk Malcolm X. They talk Malcolm X, but they don't walk Malcolm X. And it especially bothers me when I see people with profile pictures of Malcolm X raccooning. It's just the most to me. And again, if you guys are in the watch parties, click the link so that I can read your comments. And I'll be more than happy to do it. And I'm going to catch up because I know we're really behind it. Tisha says, I had a dream about Kamala and she was sneering as she had people lined up and they were in chains. Well, damn. I hope you ain't no prophetess in that way. That's crazy, but maybe you own to something. And God is in charge. How you doing? He says, Maxine on Megan Thee Stallion's tail. Yeah, Maxine needs to sit her behind down. That was an awful display of an older woman. She should have been sitting Megan down and saying, young lady, there's some things we do and do not do. Okay. And all of that is not one of them.
Oh, that's not empowerment? I thought that was black woman empowerment.
No. And David, how you doing? He says, good afternoon. He says, I'm glad to be here, and we are glad to have you here. And Jeffrey says, Tisha, but our people was rooting for her as the first black woman in office. They put her there on the pedestal. Yeah, they did. And the Negroes fought you tooth and nail. Oh, she's black. She's black, and she's this and she's that, and how dare you? And now she basically turned her back on black people.
And black people got rid of her in the primary. She was rejected outright in the primaries. That should have told you something right there. If she couldn't, as a black woman, win in the primaries, what the heck? She was installed by the Democratic Party to have the black, the fool people, basically. And there it is.
And Robin says, Maxine Waters needs to worry about the district that she came from that's still in shambles. She can miss me with that babble talk. Yep. But she knows people will continue to vote for her. They just love Maxine and all her little.
Well, again, her district is being gentrified, so she won't be there too much longer. But then again, she'll probably leave Congress and won't give a damn.
Right. They love all her little sayings and, things like that. And that's symbolism. We like symbolism. We don't really want too much tangibles. And Moni says, in Michigan, you got Reseda to lead. You got Debbie Dingle, and you got the other Debbie Stabenow, I think, who just about 4 years ago said she was running against a candidate that took an Asian and was making a mockery. I think that you're trying to say that. And Tisha says, Jeffrey, sadly, you're right. I didn't help with that. And Jonelle says, what we lack, we must pool our resources and establish. We must become a productive people for ourselves. Our dependency is our crutch. We have all the ability and resources we need to build our own and enjoy heaven on earth while we live. Because no one is truly looking for a ticket to the image white doctrine of heaven in the by and by, aka upper room. Yep. And David says those politicians were bought off. That's how they get them all the time. And Tisha says, how do we get everyone on accord, though? Just keep talking, keep walking, keep setting the example, keep getting out there in the community and doing, and more action, less talk. And just really becoming aware, because a lot of our people aren't really aware of what we're facing, what we're going through. We just kind of think, the $1,400 checks goes out and it's a Band-Aid for right now. We feel like, okay, we got a breath of, fresh air, but we don't really see what's up the pike for us as Black people. So we have to educate ourselves for one, and then get out there and each one teach one.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. Black people, especially, we always find out stuff after the fact. Here's a good example. Those self-checkout things that you see at Walmart and all these stores now, that is a way for AI to take jobs. Now, Black people, we're the first and the major people with the service industry, right? Because, that's the frontline workers, right? We don't even realize right now that we're moving ourselves out of jobs. If people would stop going to those kiosks, those companies would be forced to hire cashier workers. But no, we think that we are so important and that we are in such a rush to get back to watch our little TV screens, our little programs, the housewives or whatever we're watching, that we don't even realize that we are putting ourselves out of a job. AI is taking over the jobs. And by the time we realize it, just like Malcolm X said, they're going to have the gas ovens on before you realize that they're hot.
And Fayetteville says, I'm not talking about everybody. I'm just talking about like you are and being general if the shoe fits. And Stacey says, we need a movement like Rosa Parks' 387 days to a law change. See, I always say that we don't have the heart or the hustle as our ancestors did. They knew what real sacrifice was. We have just gotten comfortable, and we don't want to be uncomfortable. We wouldn't dare, for over a year, walk to work, even miles, and we because they didn't have Ubers and any of that stuff then. We wouldn't dare do it, but we don't have that heart. And so, as somebody said, how do we get back to that? We need to discover where that heart and that hustle is, and ask yourself, because I ask myself this when it comes to a lot of things I want. Would I want to be in better shape? Or I want to make more money? whatever it is, the one question I always ask myself is, how bad do you want it?
But then
how bad do we want it as Black people to do what we got to do to come from under where we are? Are we willing to stay out of these stores? Are we willing to withhold our money from an economy that does not like us? Are we willing to withhold our vote from a political system that, even though we vote for it, never does anything in our favor? So we as a collective need to ask ourselves, how bad do we want it?
Right. Do we have the discipline? But here's the thing, too. That generation also dealt with leaders that looked like them and was in their same age group. A. Philip Randolph, who ran the Porters, and he was an older civil rights fighter. He was more of a chairman and advisor. He was still involved, but he was an advisor. In our generation, again, one of the problems is our civil rights era people won't stand down or let us.
I'm gonna have to just say this, because I keep hearing a lot of people talk about leaders. Who's the white leader? Who's the Asian leader?
About what?
Who's the Hispanic leader? Who's the Arab leader?
Mm-hmm.
So the point that I'm making is, while some leadership is good, I'm not saying we don't need some leadership, but I think, unfortunately, we in the Black community, we get too caught up on who is the leader. And we've had plenty of leaders. We just got to decide as a people that either we're going to have a leader, we need to listen to them. Because I'm not talking about this misleadership, the so-called misleadership, as Carter G. Woodson talked about in your market. I'm talking about the real leaders like your Marcus Garvey's that we sold out. I'm talking about Farrakhan, who was a leader. I'm talking about Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm X, and all the other leaders that we had that we didn't listen to. Now, do we need somebody to lead us? Or are we considered to be leaders ourselves? No one else has a leader.
Right. No, but that's where I was going with it. If you named all those people that you named, they were all in the same age group. That's what I'm saying. There had several leaders there. We have several leaders in our generation, but a lot of these leaders can't rise because the other leaders are still there. That's what I'm saying.
That's not true. That they can't. That's not that they don't rise because the other leaders are still there. They don't rise because we don't allow them to, because a leader has to have followers. And if the followers aren't getting in line lockstep, then it's not necessarily, I'm talking about the real leaders. It's not necessarily their fault. It's our fault. So at some point, we know Maxine Waters is not a leader. We know all of those people aren't leaders. And so some point in time, we got to stop expecting them to be that, and either step up and be a leader ourselves or get behind the people who are really doing the work, period. Let me get back to these comments. Akita says, Gen X is the latchkey generation. Wow, and you're right. And Donovan says, I love Fayetteville. She brings the fire. And Kelly says, no, Generation X is the first generation where the family unit was beginning to be destroyed. And Arkeithia says, you can never be free from a nation that enslaved you. And Kelly says, strategic methods used to destroy and begin the decline. And Blessings, you said, I meant to say Malema want to make this country. And then you said again, Malema want to make this country borders. Okay, I think you kept messing up. You said that.
Borderless.
Borderless. Okay, yeah, because your comment kept getting cut off. Borderless, that can be a good thing, but it will. I'll wait till you finish your whole comment because it keeps cutting off.
Yeah, just remember it's only 200 words if you're using YouTube.
Okay, got it. And Payton Fool says, I'm a master gardener. We need more foundational Black Americans to learn how to grow their own food. Black first. Yep. We got to learn how to do that because, we're dependent on these major stores. And I don't care what color you are. You better learn how to grow some food or can or do something, because this pandemic and a lot of disasters that are going on around the world has shown, especially just in the United States, have shown us that we are very vulnerable. I was caught up in that Texas freeze, and it really made you realize how vulnerable you are. Okay, and so let's see here. Ooh. And Jonelle says, where's the need? Where there's a need, there's a service, aka business to be established. You got a product, you got a business. Our salvation is in our productivity and awareness. We must be studious of everything and constructive. And Lamarcus says, yep, and Blessing says, I meant to say, here we go. Malema want to make this country borderless, which means everyone can enter without a passport. Yeah, some people think he is doing something, and I can't see the rest of it. Okay, so I need to learn more about that.
Well. The thing is, blessings. You know what's the difference? When we were there in South Africa, they said there was like all these people from Mozambique and Nigeria there. There was almost like, I guess, 2 million people in Soweto themselves. They said almost 2 million people sitting in Soweto were refugees from other countries. So, I mean, here in America, we have 11 million people. I mean, it's everywhere. People are, and the reason why do people move? Opportunity. You know, they want a better life or a better opportunity. So how do you stop that? I just don't know how it's going to be done.
Right. And Elle says, then the Asians will become the distributors. Yep. And they definitely block off the supply to Black businesses. And I've heard a lot of Black businesses say that. And Hamilton, how you doing? You say at this point, there are so many Black-owned businesses selling products online and in stores, from toilet paper to makeup, skincare, and even hair. If you aren't buying Black now, you don't want to. I 100% agree with you. If you're not doing it, you just don't want to do it. Right here behind Donovan, we got a Black-owned toothpaste company, Prodent Max, that I have pinned the link in both the comment section on Facebook and the description box on YouTube. You use toothpaste, go and buy Black. I mean, Crest and AIM, as I say all the time, got enough of our money. Give them a shot. I use it and I love it. And Jonelle says, promote your own and support your own. It's just really that easy. And Janelle says, how you doing, by the way? The beauty supply I patronize is owned by Nigerians. They have a wig shop too. So there's people who look like us out there with businesses.
Now, again, I mean, you know, even though they're Black, like I said, I support Black, whatever it is. But, you know, that just, again, you got people that have come here and they've got issues with that, but we'll worry about that later.
Yeah, so I say we got to start somewhere. And Leonard, how you doing? He says it's not about the weave, it's about the economic impact when you buy the weave. Exactly. So as I was saying, you can buy it from people who look like us. I mean, we can't tell people what to do with their hair, but it'd be nice if they're going to buy, you know, hair products and weave and all that, to buy it from people who look like us. And Tisha, how you doing? And Blessing says, I meant to say, Malima want to make this country borderless, which means everyone will enter without a passport. And now that won't be a good move. This channel is great, sis. Have a great day. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, and please come back, or you can give us some updates on my second home, South Africa, Joburg.
And Hamilton says there are even Black farmers selling produce and meat online. We could do this. Yep. And you guys, somebody gave me a site to Black own fruit and vegetable online. It was Buddy Bet or something. Somebody could put it in the comment section, because I've been looking for it. So if you guys remember what that is. And Akita, you say Black beauty supply still get their products from Asians. Yep. So we need to find a supply chain, or maybe start making our own Black products. And I'm not talking about the Black owned products that start off Black and then they sell it to a major white corporation. I'm talking about the stuff you making at home, in your bathroom, in your kitchen. We need more, because I mean, come on now. One thing about Black women, we know about the oils and the shea butters and the cocoa butters. We know how to make it do what it do.
And then you guys got to think about this too. With that barge that's been stuck in the Suez Canal, watch how the prices are going to go up, because look how big and massive those container ships are. That's going to cause not a significant, but a impact when it comes to products from the Middle East and stuff like that in Asia.
Yep. And Elle says, once Asians see we are not patronizing them for their hair weaves, they will flip the script. We don't make weave hair. Right. Well, we're going to have to start maybe thinking about going natural. But again, how bad do you want Black unity? Are you willing to go natural?
Right. And the only thing that these people, Black, white, anybody understands, it's the money. What are we crying about? The money. When you start affecting their bottom line and their profits, watch how they flip the script on, oh, we love Black people. Oh, they're our best friends. And you're just going to see it. You're going to see it, like I said, because one thing my cousin said, they don't like us here, but they won't let us leave.
Right.
They need us.
And Robin says, exactly, Black first. Hey, Amanda, how you doing? He says, I'm trying to buy your toothpaste, but it won't let me put anything in the cart. Let them know. Okay. Yeah, I'll let them know. I don't know what's going on with that.
Now they see your credit. That's what it is.
You're right. Well, we know she ain't got that problem. And Donovan says, we need to stay on code. That is what's wrong with us. Absolutely. And Saks Up Your Life, how you doing? He says, I've come in a little late, so I am referring to what you said near the beginning of your show, where someone stated that Jesus condoned slavery. Jesus condoned it for Israelites only to have slaves. Yeah, that was in North Amanda, actually, in Jacksonville. school, Robert E. Lee. They're trying to change the name of it. And a guy who got up at the school board meeting says that, that basically they're trying to take everything away from white people. And Jesus didn't condemn slavery. He actually said that the slaves should obey their masters in the Bible. So, and Janelle, it says 45 North, the Greens Point and North Line area is heavy with Hispanic-owned businesses. Yeah, and I'm new to Houston. I don't know where street it is, what area, but it's nothing but Asian businesses, just Asian businesses left and right, across the street, down the street. I'm like, man.
Well, you got to think about this too. Here in California, notice you don't really hear a lot of Black people talking about they're from California. If you do run in one day, they say, I just moved here from California. California economically has priced Black people out of here. So that's another thing we got to look at. Once again, economically, we are broke and we have people sitting at the table that are doing absolutely nothing for us. We've got to stay on code.
Hold on a second. I'm sending a message.
But Hamilton says, buy Black beauty supplies directly from Black people online or in stores. Target carries many Black-owned beauty supplies. Correct. That is very correct.
Yes, they do. I mean, at the very least, if that's what you got to do, get some, Black-owned supplies from there, even though Target does get some of that money. But I mean, it's a start. And make sure it's actually Black-owned, because a lot of, like I was saying a minute ago, a lot of the products have been sold to white corporations. Like I think Shea Moisture and the whole Cantu is not Black owned. So just, if you have a question, go on Google real quick in the store and see who actually owns it, so that you'll know your money is going actually to Black companies. And Jonelle says, we're the only people due to programs, self-hate against self-preservation. That's natural. That have to enforce buying Black, shopping with our own, supporting our own is only in truth naturally intelligent. We can no longer afford to be a nation of beggars. Yeah, and that's what we are. When we can very easily just do what we got to do. Make a second nature that when you go out the house with your wallet or your purse, I'm going to buy Black. If not, I'm going to sit behind my computer and I'm going to go online and order from Black people as much as I can. Is it going to take a day or so, or maybe a week for me to get it? Yeah. But the more we put money into Black-owned businesses, the faster they'll be able to operate and the more product they'll be able to have. It's really that simple. It's simple economics.
And we, and again, we also have to research when these committees and cities, they keep using the guise of, it's reparations. This is reparations. As we found out, that thing in Chicago, that city near Chicago that's supposed to do reparations, that was not reparations. It was a housing program. So don't let these Black politicians and bootlicks fool you into thinking that they're doing something when they're really not. We have to do the research when it comes to what they're going to do and how they're going to do it for us, because they're hoping we take the settlement. That's what they're hoping for.
Right. And Fabio, you say we should not spend so much money on hair and hair weave and go more natural, because Black suppliers make products for natural hair. Yeah. I mean, you could YouTube and how to make natural products for your hair. I mean, it's really that easy. But I mean, like I said, I can't speak for anybody else. I like being natural. Is it sometimes a challenge? Yeah. But, once you learn how to do it and get the hang of it, it's like, shoot, I would rather be nothing else but natural.
But let me ask you a question as a man. When did women stop doing their hair? I mean, because there's a lot of women in my generation and the generation after me, they don't know how to do hair. So if you can't teach that to your daughter, it's going to be a lost art, correct?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know when women, I guess specifically Black women, stop doing hair. There's a lot of Black women who still do their hair. Somehow the wig thing took over. I don't know, maybe it's just easier, it's more convenient. I don't know. I've never worn a wig. Wigs and all that have never been my thing. Because I've always combed my hair. I mean, what else am I going to do to it, right? And it's funny. Al was telling me earlier, he says, I noticed at least, 6 out of 7 days a week, you comb your hair and, you take care of yourself. I'm saying, well, yeah.
What the hell's wrong with you, woman?
Well, it has a lot to do with something to do, because I'm always on here. And I personally feel better when I can comb my own hair and, do my face up a little bit and get dressed, nothing major. I just feel better, about my day. So I don't know. And Tisha, you say true. And Arkeet says the Asians got a lot of cheap breakable items. And Stacy says we need more pro bono accountants until we level up. Yeah, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there. I'm in public relations. I give a lot of services away for free because I know our people need help. I charge, but I do give a lot of it away. You know, if somebody asks me a simple question or want to talk for a minute, I'm not going to say, well, you got to pay me. You're like, yeah, sure. What do you need? You know?
Yeah. But then again, at the same time, as Black people, we also got to realize when we are in a position to pay, we should pay because, I mean, everybody wants the discount. And that's a bad stigma the Black community has, especially when you know you have the ability to pay. Pay these people for what they do. That, you know, they have a business too, you know? It's just sad.
Yeah. And Stacy says, oh no, I read that already. And Arkeeta says, made in China, not good. Wish I was 18 again. I don't know about 18 again, but 35 maybe for me, maybe even 40. I don't know if I want to do my 20s and 30s over again. That might kill me. And Samuel says, they like to whitenize Malcolm X. Yeah, you notice that now? Back in the day, he was the enemy. He was evil. He was, you know, the public enemy number one. The FBI wanted, but now they glamorize him. You can go into Target, into Forever 21, and all these stores and see T-shirts of Malcolm X. And it's like, well, not that long ago, he was a villain.
See, but what you're missing in that message is this, Demetra. They know just like what we know. Black people ain't going to go really read up on what Malcolm X was really about or what Martin Luther King was really about. We're not going to read that stuff. So they're not concerned. They can just change the narrative knowing that a majority of Black people are just going to go with what the soundbite is.
Yeah, they've romanticized the idea of Malcolm X. They've made him into the soft character. We're not saying he was austere as a person, but you know, he's not a threat anymore because they know we're in love with the idea of Malcolm opposed to actually going forth with the works that he gave us to do so many years ago. And Fabio says, didn't Malcolm change after his trip to Mecca? Yes, he did. He changed his mind on a lot of things, but then it was also said that before he was killed that he was entertaining or, you know, in talks of going back. So who knows, right? And Black Ricardo, how you doing? And you say, how about listening to the leaders we have today? Let's stop waiting until they die to take them seriously. I agree with you. And Mickey, you say peace and love at Demetra and the Recovering Democrat. And Chat, how you doing? And Jeffrey says we need to organize. Yep. He said leadership brings organization. Yeah, I mean, we've had plenty of leadership. And, you know, it's always one or two or a small fraction of us that's doing our damnedest to take them down. And so we keep falling for it. And Stacey says, DemetraKaye and Donovan love you guys so much, but it's way past my bedtime. Oh, that's right, because you in the UK. Says, got to work in a few hours. Check out BBC C2 Black Power regarding leaders. We'll catch you guys next week. And thank you so much for being here. Please do get some rest.
Right. Hey, you don't have to catch us next week. Just subscribe to the DemetraKaye Show on YouTube, and you can go do the replay whenever you want.
There you go. And Elle says, so blessed I found this channel, and we are so blessed that you are here. And Fabio says, I would love to meet you all face to face because I cannot share all on social media. I am still making sacrifices and listen to Malcolm, King, study Garvey, Gandhi, and anyone that made sense, but we have to do the work. You are absolutely right. We can listen and, you know, read all of these books, all of them. I mean, I got books everywhere. Just books everywhere. But if we don't make the words on the page come to life, they're just words. So we actually, you know, got to do the work. So I agree with you, Fabio.
And the thing is, Fabio, like I said, I do enjoy having you on the show and you putting in your comments because we learn just as much from you as you do from us. And like I said, some of your comments, I've heard people message me and say, hey, what was she saying about this? And I would tell them, go research that, you know, go look at this, go look at that. We might not always agree on the same issue, you know, and things of that nature, but that's what we need to start doing is having conversations so that we can see where we could meet and do better moving forward.
Yep. And then Black Ricardo says, Trump is one of the white leaders. They damn near destroyed the Capitol for him. Yeah, I mean, he's a white leader. I wouldn't say he's the leader of white people. I would say he's more the leader of white supremacy, if you will, of the MAGA crowd. Yeah, but the crazy part about it is they listened. They even though it was some bullcocker, they listened and they followed the instructions to the T. So yeah, and the teacher says, I was just looking at some farmland in Virginia this weekend. It used to be reasonable per acre. Shoot, it has skyrocketed. Yeah, people are trying to get land and get away from the grid, right? And Fayetteville says, make your opportunities in the country where you are. Okay, because a lot of us are talking about getting up out of here one day. And Jonelle says, life is all about what we're willing to sacrifice. We must have the initiative to put practice to the principles work needed for our own self-preservation. No leader is needed to make us work for white sovereignty. So none should be needed to make us work for our own Black sovereignty. We just need a leader to bring us to the truth of what we're blind to and our own self-awareness and innate abilities. Put a trained lion in the wild and it will naturally do or die. Absolutely. We got to be that lion for real. And Arquita says, Master P just opened up a senior supermarket store. I forgot where. Yeah, I heard about that. I'm assuming maybe in Louisiana. Isn't that where he's from, Louisiana? Mm-hmm. And Sacks Up Your Life says, referring to what you said earlier about our people in America being about 7 years away from another slavery. If this is so, then perhaps Africa or the Caribbean might be a place for us to go. Wow. The Asians are going over there and they swooping up the land over there in Africa. They even got a Chinese woman sitting in the parliament for the ANC.
And here's the funny thing. If we made a mass exodus to another country, do you realize that they would fight tooth and nail to keep us out of that country? Because, we would go over there with the resources that we would have in hand. And we would take over that country just like we feel when these other people come into, to this country. So, we really got to be particular about where we're going to go.
Yeah, well, a lot of, our African brothers and sisters, they're like, come home. Don't believe the hype. We want y'all to come over here. So, I agree with you. We might need to be looking at a place to stake our claim. I don't want to say claim because it does sound like a takeover, but at least somewhere we can go let our hair down, right? And Pam is jamming. It says, illegal immigration got worse since the 80s. Amnesty was the nail in the coffin.
And that was Ronald Wilson Reagan that did that.
And Samuel says, we could be like Marcus Garvey and start our own distribution line if we start getting on code. Yep. The Black Star Line. Absolutely. We really could, because that's the idea that he had for us. Get our own. Up you mighty nation, accomplish what you will. He says, don't be trying to do nothing for the white man until you got your own stuff together as Black people. But the nation does it. The nation has, their products and their own farming and all of that going on. So the rest of us can do it too.
And just think of all these people that have millions. Look at all the Black entertainers, the Black athletes. So the monetary capital base is there if they want to contribute to us. Herschel Walker, you could keep your money.
Herschel, yeah, right. And Tisha says, I'm already natural, almost 5 years. Woohoo! And it's so freeing. It really is. To me, it's freeing. And Arquita says, amnesty was the nail in the coffin. Yep. And Wisdom and Earth, how you doing? He says, we need more hair salons that grow hair. Yeah, there are some Black salons that are starting to specialize in natural hair. I haven't been to one yet, but yeah, I am seeing them pop up. And some of them say we only do natural hair. They don't do the chemicals and all of that. So, and Jeffrey says, Tisha, I try to wake my people up, but I get bashed. Well, keep talking because somebody is listening. Think about it. We weren't always where we are in our thought process either. We was at one point in time raccooning a little bit too until we really started to open our minds. So keep talking.
Consistency is the key. Just keep doing what you're doing. Because when we started at a little coffee shop right in front of the Starbucks in a podcast, and we just kept going and kept going and kept going, and here we are.
Right. And Kiki says, wow, Donovan, they're speaking gems today. Now just don't mess it up and start talking about Ike. And Tisha says, Jeffrey, they're asleep. And Jonelle says, I just posted a sister to my page who produces her own skincare, other products. Her name is Fatima Dalia Mall. Check her out. Check out her products. They're getting great reviews by those who have used them. Yes, I have to check it out. I like Black-owned natural skin products and shampoos and all of that stuff. I love it. I'm one of those people who I just love good soaps, and don't get me started. I got a whole bathroom full of them. But I will check it out, Jonelle. Please send me the link so that you make sure I get it. And matter of fact, post it up here so I can post it. If you guys have a business or something you want me to post real quick, put in the link, and I'd love to do that.
Yeah, and we don't just do it on this show. We do it on other shows as well. So, please let us know. And
I'm going to get to these last comments here. And Tisha says, African pride isn't black owned. Yep, a lot of them. Do your research. And Jeffrey said, Tisha, you can give them facts, but it won't do any good. So I told myself, F them and let them drown. Well, keep talking, brother. Somebody is listening. They might not concede to you that, I'm listening, but they listening. Trust me. Trust me. Keep talking. And Wisdom and Earth says, I thought Cantu was black owned. No, not black owned. And Jerome says, buy black drinks like Dylanese. I need to know what that is. That sounds good. What is it? Now that's me being greedy. What is it? Oh, and Jerome says, he says the food truck in New Orleans black owned. So he says, I think he said you have a food truck in New Orleans that's black owned. If so, that is awesome. And Arkeith says 8% African Americans in California as of today. Yeah. California black people just need to come on out of there. Come on out.
And isn't that a shame? Because in the 70s and 80s, we were averaging I think it was 23%. Yeah,
California is going to be for the very rich only pretty soon. I mean, everything in California is it's ridiculous. It's not even luxurious in most of the places in California. It's just ridiculously high. And so most people hey, you know what? I can get a better bang for my buck somewhere else. I'm new to Texas, Houston, and my money has gone a lot farther here than in California. I'll tell you that right now. So Fayetteville says, funny, but in Chicago, the most successful black businesses are in mixed or white neighborhoods because most of our neighborhoods that are predominantly black are crime-ridden or too poor to support the business. I have to travel at least 5 miles to find a black restaurant. We need to fix that.
Yeah, and let me ask you this, Fayetteville, the representative for that black neighborhood, is that a black representative?
Yeah, it's a good question. All right, and so let me see here. Oh, where did my comment go?
Arkeitha.
Got it. All right, I'm going to get through them right now. And then Arkeitha says, correct me if I'm wrong. And what is that? And then Jonelle says, we as black people should want and desire to make our own people rich first. You would think, right? And then Arkeitha says, I grew up doing my own hair. Now I am natural. Yeah, same here. I mean, I've gone a couple places to salons here and there in my life, but for the most part, I've done my own hair. But I know how to do hair too. I had a cosmetology license years ago when I was 19, long time ago. And Tisha says, looking good, Demetra, and saying to you, sis. And Fayetteville says, 1968 is when perm was introduced and we lost our hair and had to turn to wigs and weave. I know because my family owned and worked in beauty shops. And yeah, and that stuff they was using back then, ooh, it was harsh. I mean, then they made the no-lie product, but it's still harsh. It's still straightening your hair. The chemicals are still, inculcating into your skin. And so, I mean, it just play on words, really. Teacher says, I stopped doing my daughter's hair when I became the breadwinner. I have no time in my hair and my daughter's hair. That's too much hair for a weekend. I get it. That wash day for me is just ugh. But it got easier because I bought me a blow dryer hairbrush. And so it's gotten so much easier. I actually look forward to washing my hair every week now. And the teacher says, and we are all natural. It could be a job. And Grandma Coles, how you doing? He says, if you're running a business, we need to be paid. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. Nobody's in business because, they have, money to burn. You're in business because you want to make money. But I'm one of those people who believe in helping people out who need it. But of course, if you're in a business, you shouldn't be paid. And if you're seeking somebody, their expertise, pay them. Even if they're saying, I'm doing pro bono, tip them. Here's $5, $10 just because, something, whatever, And let's see, teacher says, keep those 20s, laugh out loud. And Jonelle says, we must give our black children something to be proud of beyond song, dance, running a football, as others are doing for their children. We can at least establish a black town, support a black business, and let's make other blacks rich. It's on us to empower us. Yep.
Real quick. Have you guys noticed when you go to Walmart or Target, now they have a section that has the Asian section and the Asian food. Then you have the section that has the Hispanic food. Then you have the regular.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of a sudden, you go to the frozen section, the Asian, stuff. Where's the black stuff?
Where the hot sauce is.
Yeah.
We have the hot sauce.
Yeah, where all the welfare food is. You see the WIC sign? That's the black stuff. Right? Yeah. It's sad. It's sad.
Key says, I don't have an issue with sisters who wear extensions. Personally, I try to encourage natural hair care or at least natural styles, i.e. braids, twists, etc. But my thing is I can't stand when sisters tell me it's too much work to do their own natural hair, but they get up every day and style, hot iron, and curl a weave. Like, sis, really, I don't get that. Yeah, I don't get that either. You might as well just do your own hair. And Fayetteville says, men use perm first and called it a conch, so we started doing it too. Yeah, they use straight up lie.
Yep, especially them Temptations and them Four Tops and all those Teddy Pendergrass, all them boys.
I couldn't imagine putting no straight line on my hair. It's like fire. And Jonelle says, Malcolm X wouldn't take that vaccine. Malcolm X been to Mecca before with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That wasn't his first time seeing white Muslims. True. And Arkita says, yes, we have to put yourself on the pavement. And Favor says, I'm listening and learning. Same here. And Arkita says, Bill Gates is buying up all the land he wants to control the type of food intake. Yep. People better start really waking up and paying attention to what's going on. I mean, you got this internet or computer mogul now delving off into stuff that's like, what you doing over there, Bill? What you doing over there? And let's see. And Jonelle says, we must be on solutions and application of solutions. Yep. And Black Ricardo says that's what they do. They get rid of our leaders, then make profit off of them movies, t-shirts, and memorabilia. Yeah, that's why I said be careful when you have Hollywood making movies about our leaders like Malcolm and your Marcuses and your Martin Luther Kings and Fred Hamptons. Be careful because we're like, why are you doing this all of a sudden? These people were hated by America. Now that you guys put movies of the weeks out, like, what's your angle?
Well, you got to remember this too. They're bringing us new leaders and new superheroes. Super Bitch will be out any minute.
We cool on Super Bitch, okay? And Fayetteville says, yes, but when he went by himself, he woke up to his own thoughts. That's what they tell you, And Black Ricardo says, or they would follow us if we did a mass exodus. Yeah, because we are the service industry here in America. Predominantly, it's us as Black people. So shit, who gonna serve them their hamburgers and French fries and the hotels and all? Who gonna do all of that if we leave? They ain't gonna do it. Hell, they didn't want to pick their own cotton. So
yeah, who's gonna fill their jails? How are they gonna make money off of us if we're not here?
Right. And Arkita says, I heard the Africans want us back. Yeah, they do. A lot of times people say, oh, well, they don't want us over there. Africans don't like us. That's not true. That's overall not true. There's some who are like, we don't want you over here. Yeah, I'm sure. But for the most part, they're like, we're waiting on.
Yeah, and a lot of that, the ones that don't want us over there, that stems from tribalism. But I will guarantee you, if you go there, because when we were there and when I was there before that, the first thing I ever think about is, man, I could have this. I could have that. I mean, your mind just starts going at all of the opportunity that is there that you can have there that you don't get here.
Mm-hmm. And RKD says, yes, never stop talking. Yeah, keep talking and educating. You'll wake somebody up, even if it's just one. And Fayetteville says, I wonder what would happen if all of the Black and white boomers would sit down and retire and go fishing or knitting.
It would be a wrap. This country would just go into major civil war. Major civil war.
That is funny. And Robin says, can you post a link for the sister with the skincare products? Yes, as soon as Jonelle does, when I see it. Oh, here we go. There it is right there, y'all, for the skincare products. Please check it out. And let's see here. And Health Light, how are you? He says, health, the natural way, acupuncture, food therapy, herbal therapy. Thanks. Absolutely. That's how you got to get down. You got to, do it the natural way. I like that. And Jerome says, Master P trying to buy Reebok. Yeah, we're going to see if they're going to let them, right? And Fayetteville says, yes. He says, Brookins is Black and looking for Black businesses by offering incentives. Okay. And Treasure, how you doing? He says, I stopped having headaches when I grew the relaxer out. Been natural for 4 years, locks and braids, updos, looking black and fine. I know that's right. Yeah, because those chemicals, they seep into your body. I mean, that's why even like with this toothpaste back there behind Donovan, the Prodent Max is natural, and especially your mouth, it is the gateway to everything that absorbs in your body. And so a lot of toothpaste, I haven't used toothpaste in regular toothpaste in years, even before I started using Prodent Max, because I realized that a lot of toothpaste has chemicals and it's not good for your body. So
yeah, and the water has enough fluoride and stuff in it that is going to rot your teeth, whatever anyway. So, go natural. Why not?
Yep, absolutely. And Sammy says the pandemic forced me to learn how to cut my own hair, saving myself some money. There you go. And that was the one thing about this pandemic. If you didn't learn how to do something, whether you didn't learn something about yourself, how to make something, how to do something, it was kind of a waste. A lot of people have learned to do things they never even thought they would have to, like cutting your own hair, right?
And here's the funny thing, Sam, you're also going to find, and we know, brothers, you go to your shop, a haircut now costs $25 or something like that, plus tip, depending, if you can do the facial thing. When you look at your budget and you see that extra money that you're saving, because a young guy like you probably get a haircut every 2 weeks, probably on average. Man, that's money saved. You could take that money invested and do something really, really good with it.
Yep, absolutely. So good for you. And then Fabio says, I'm returning to teaching high school social studies next month. Now that I am fully vaccinated, I will be getting young people's opinions. But you still stay safe out there because,
Yes, and history was my specialty. So if you have any, suggestions or questions, I'm always available.
She's like, sucker, you got me messed up. I'm just playing. And Sammy says, I'll be surprised if they make a movie about Khalid Abdul-Muhammad. White folks would really have to work hard to make him white. Now, that will never happen, okay? There's no way they would. Yeah, they'll be like, forget it. We just can't make it happen. Robert, you say thank you. Fabio says Africa does not want people with poor attitudes and that are financially poor at the same time. They want innovators and movers to bring the country up, not down.
No, absolutely not true. Absolutely not true. Like I said, if you went to Soweto, it is 6 million people, 4 million that the government has on numbers. People are coming there for opportunity. White people, 7% of the population, control 3% of all the wealth there, still in the same hand. So they're not even trying. The difference is just like our black politicians here, the black politicians there are doing no different than our black politicians here. They're enriching themselves and don't give a damn. They just don't.
Right. Well, I mean, I kind of get what she's saying. She's like, don't bring your, like she says, your poor attitude and your nonsense and the stuff we see over here. Don't bring that over to the motherland, okay? Because I don't think they're gonna be as lenient as we are over here with the nonsense. So I get it.
Yeah.
Like Marcus Garvey said, leave those people behind. Okay, y'all stay right where you at with the foolishness. We good.
Yeah, but the sad thing was when we were over there, they've adopted a lot of our foolishness. That's the crazy thing. The younger generation has adopted a lot of our foolishness that we have here in America. So.
Yep. And Arkeithia says, I'm from California and went to Montgomery, Alabama for 9 months. My first day, I was overwhelmed with my peeps, but then my sons needed me, and here I stay.
Let me ask you this, Arkeithia. How old are your sons, and why would they need you? If I'm just speculating, if they're fully grown.
Shoot, everybody needs their mama close by. Shoot, except for Donovan. No, I'm just playing.
I got my mama cat is right behind this curtain right now.
And Arkeithia says, you guys are great. We need peeps like you. We appreciate that so much. And Pivot, how you doing? He says, I love your show. Is there a book or website that lists all the Black-owned businesses in the U.S.? WeBuyBlack.com. WeBuyBlack.com. They have a lot of Black products and services and everything you can think of on there. WeBuyBlack.com. And there's some other ones. And I next week I'll try to remember so I can start posting them up there. But yes, there's quite a few of them. And Fable says, I said, poor attitude and poor. And Arkika says they were 17 and 19 at the time. So when
absolutely, yeah,
they're babies,
mama, yeah, they.
And Fabio says we have a church in Zimbabwe, so we support it with money and goods collected here. So
yes, the thing about Zimbabwe, which is an anomaly on the continent of Africa, 90% unemployment rate there. 90%. I actually am a trillionaire. I have a $10 trillion bill. And you saw it, Demetria. I'm a trillionaire there. Hyperinflation, all kinds of stuff like that. So Zimbabwe, Robert Mugabe, who was the father of the nation there, that's another example of somebody staying too long into office and power. He started off great and he just couldn't adjust to whatever and became a dictator and so on and so forth. But think about this, 90% unemployment rate for their people.
That's crazy. And Keith says, I had to go back to California for the graduation. And Kevin, how you doing? He says, hello, family. I'd rather say that I'm in the 9 foreign countries I have been to. I have found a receptive class, generally upper class, and offer teaching positions. I highly recommend visiting for yourself. People love good people. Absolutely. And Arkiti says, got stuck in California. It's a nice place to be stuck, especially if you can afford it. And you're welcome, Pivot. And so that's all the comments. Oh, my God, I can't believe we got to all the comments. And only 10 minutes over. Not bad, not bad. So, again, you guys, thank you so much for being here.
No, we're not 10 minutes over. We usually go to 1:45. So.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Right on time then. All right. So, as we get out of here, you guys, we have a Cash App up here. If you like New Black Media and you want to support it, please feel free to do so. Any little bit helps to keep the show going. But we appreciate you greatly for being here. It is our pleasure, and we love your participation here. We learn so much from you as well. I'd like to thank Donovan for everything that he does and helping me co-host the show. And, of course, our Marcus Guyton, who was trying to come on here, but we had so many comments. So we'll get him on here so he can speak his piece. He is a big advocate of us going back to Africa. He says, let's blow this joint. We don't have nothing left here for us. Let's go back to Africa. So we're going to have Marcus on so we can hear from him.
And we damn sure don't have nothing to lose. So
right. And so as always, Facebook and YouTube, the other side of the conversation. Thank you so much. We will see you guys on the War Zone Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Central Time, where we talk about a whole host of things there with the 5-star general. You guys can find him on YouTube as well under War Zone with the 5-star general. And Donovan is under Donovan Sadiq. And what else you got on YouTube, Donovan?
I have News from the Edgemont. You can always go there, but that deals with my local channel, and then I have the Afro Diaspora Network. You can go check that out, and that page. I try to get all these Black outlets and put them on one page so that you guys can see what's actually going on in the African American diaspora. All
right. So anyway, you guys, we will see y'all on all next week. We'll be back. And you guys have a great weekend, rest of the weekend, and stay safe out there because the Rona is still on the loose. So stay safe, you guys. We appreciate you. Peace.